Hey, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in today to discuss Emily's latest math test scores. I wanted to go over by saying overall, she's doing really well. She brought it up from like a second gradish level to a third grade level on average. There's certain categories she definitely scores higher in than others. So I just kind of wanted to meet with you and go over some of the things that I'm doing here at school to help clarify and work on those skills, but also give you some ideas of things you can do at home to kind of reinforce those skills. The one that she scored the highest on, honestly, is numbers and operations, which she actually scored third grade, 8th month. So she's come a long way with those. She kind of gets a grasp of those. Like, she's really good at counting by 2s, 5s, 10s. It's some of those other numbers, the 6, 7, 8 that we're working with. So if y'all could kind of work on some of those skip counting, there's some great YouTube videos online that work on each number specifically. So maybe let her have a little time to watch some of those and get the song in her head so she's learning those multiples. The next one is fractions. She actually scored second grade, 8th month on fractions. She's a very visual learner. So a lot of times if just two fractions are written on the page, she doesn't quite get it. But when I draw in a visual picture, or if the worksheet, etc., has a visual picture, she can definitely figure out that 1/2 and 3/4, that 3/4 is greater than, if we have that visual picture. So that's something, if you're working on fractions at home, doing any homework, I always try to have a picture there, but sometimes there's not always a picture if it's in a workbook, for instance. So maybe y'all could visually draw out the picture to kind of help her with that skill. We've kind of moved on from fractions right now, but that's still something we need to constantly be working on because that is a place where she struggles. Something that she actually scored the lowest in, which is still a great improvement from last year. She measurements. She actually scored second grade, 2nd month. A lot of that was tied in with money. Here at school, we actually use physically real money to count. I've also discovered that if there's a worksheet or something, if I have her write the money value above it, she does a much better job of adding it. So, have her write 25 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents, that kind of thing. She is good at recognizing which coin is which, but to actually have it physically written down helps. We also try to always divide the money, all the quarters in a pile, dimes in a pile, nickels, pennies, that kind of thing. And we always start with, the biggest value quarters. And she's getting better and better at that. The problem is then when we switch and say we have a total, then I give her, out of $20, trying to remember to subtract to find out what the change is. So that's definitely a life skill y'all can work on with her at home. Just, get out some coins on the kitchen table and count them up. Ask her, how much money is this? If I give you this much, how much is this? And that physical, visual representation of money really, really does help. The other one is measuring. We've done a lot at school with rulers. We're trying to keep it pretty basic right now because a lot of the kids in the class are struggling with this skill. So we're doing a lot of just, inches, centimeters, that kind of thing. Just take random objects around the house and take a ruler and let her measure things around the house and see, make sure she knows to start at the 0. A lot of times she'll start at the 1, and that's something that we've been working on in class, but also if y'all could reinforce that skill at home. The other big thing we're struggling with is word problems. The actual numbers and operations she does great with, but some of those key words to figure out which operation she's gonna do is where she struggles. So we have actually made a sheet, everyone in the class, and it has, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we've listed a bunch of those keywords, and we're constantly adding to it. It's actually in the front of her binder, so whenever we're working on any word problems, they're welcome to refer to that page. I can send a copy home for y'all, so you can work on those skills with her also. And I've also started on Emily's paper specifically highlighting those keywords whenever we have word problems, because as soon as we figure out what operation's going on and she's able to determine which one it is, she can work the problem. That's not the issue. It's the issue of all these other words getting in the way and her trying to figure out the best solution. So I think if we're all in agreement and we work on these skills at school, I'm telling you a lot of the ways that we do things here so y'all can reinforce them at home. Thank you.